Welcome to the channel, and this is my magnificent Mk1 Caddy GT I keep talking about in other videos and not working on. But in fact, over the last 3 years, I have done a lot of work. It needed a lot of welding, and I'm going to go over a few of the problem areas and some of the areas I've already fixed in this video, and I'm going to continue finishing some repair on this side, on the sill and on the ends where they join. And so the first area that I did fix when I got the car, it was the lower scuttle panel. These tend to rot, and I wish I'd just replaced it in the areas where it needed to be replaced instead of changing the whole thing, because it does sit proud on both sides in this area here especially, and maybe even a bit higher on the other side. But I did test fit the windscreen before I welded it down, and it does fit, but it just, if you know, you know, it just sits a bit proud there. And on this side where they tend to go, both sides obviously, the jacking points, I had to replace this whole section, and obviously where it joins to the floor on the inside and overlaps, I had to make and fabricate that all up, and obviously had to take, I cut this whole section away. It was just a big gaping hole, but now I've welded that up shut. I need to go over it a bit better, do some more welding right there, and then sand it down, put another coat of epoxy on there, and then seam seal it for it to look good. And this is what it looks like on the inside. These here extensions to the floor, they overlap the other plate at the bottom, and the welds are not perfect. I'm going to grind them down and do some of them again, and then everything will get seam sealed and rust protected, especially along where the new part of the lip joins to this part of the floor, and that extends down. So I want to seam seal all along here after I've ground down most of the welds and gone over it one more time. But it's a good start. It's going to be better. And here's the collection of bits that came from that corner. There's a jacking point, of which I need to buy a new one of those and weld it to the bottom of the car. And that's the joint where the sill joins to the floor, which joins to some other pieces. Yeah, 3 layers there. So I had to fabricate all that. And bear in mind, I am an amateur, but I'm pretty happy with how it came out. And that's the floor piece from the inside, which is is welded to the other piece underneath. Now, today's video though is going to be on these holes here. They tend to rot where the caddy bed joins the cabin, and so on the sill they tend to go down there and rot. Today I also want to finish closing off this hole. I've already welded this piece to the inner sill, and then I want to try and close this whole piece off. Now I already welded this piece to the sill, and that's solid, but I can't remember if this continues going further down or if it ends right there. But I'm going to just double check the other side, and I'm going to finish this today along with the hole there. To create my pattern here, I've used it in the past, I'm going to use vinyl and cut it, and then I'm going to glue it on the panel that I'm going to trim. See if that works out. Could be a dumb idea. I used it once before. And then I'm just going to stick it on the other panel before I cut it. Yeah, so that idea worked perfectly. You're just going to have to take my word for it. Didn't show you. But I'm going to put a little lip in there. See if I can match that little lip there. Going to mark my starting point and somewhere there, and then I'm going to just take my grinder and chop into that, make it a flush fit. This is proper amateur hour. Something like that. I should have like made a little lip, cut that all out, and then welded it into that area. But I'm gonna keep that lip there and just weld it to it. All right, and now this panel's in place, and I'm gonna get that tack welded in right now. Okay, so that's the pigeon poop all ground down. Now I'm just going to hit it with a coat of epoxy, and then I will probably put some seam sealer and filler or whatever in there, but that's quite far underneath. This will all be painted black, you know, and then I get the GTI arches on there, and then they will be, you know, you won't be able to see much of that. Make it flat. Shit! You can see it more. Definitely needs some filler, that's for sure. Hit that with another coat of epoxy. Ooh, shit. Doesn't look too good there, but you know, that's where it joined in the past. There are no holes there. I did get the pinholes, most of them, I think. But I'm gonna filler that and smooth it flat. Okay, and now onto this corner piece that's sitting there snug. And that is what it looks like after I've ground down some of the welds and put some epoxy primer on there. I'm going to seam seal all along here. It's not the prettiest, but it will do the job, and then I'll put some rust preventative protection on there. I'm going to drill a hole also so I can get like fluid film into the sill to protect it, at least to give it a fighting chance to live on. It's not perfect, but it does the job. Okay, I think I'm going to call it there for this video. In the next video, I'm going to start by seam sealing all this wonderful welding work that I've done here today. And also, I want to try to clear this bed out and take off these metal aluminum plates, aluminium, that are sitting here, because I'm pretty sure they're hiding a bit of rust, at least. I mean, there's surface rust everywhere, but I'm really curious to see what I'm going to find underneath, you know, because there's like a forest growing over there. So here's hoping. It's going to be looking like a work truck kind of thing, but I want it to look like a kind of GTI themed truck. So it's going to be painted all black, and I'm going to follow this line there, so it's going to be black all the way around there, and then the rest is going to be alpine white. You know, like kind of like a GTI used to have like a black thing there. And I'm going to have the GTI over fenders, the twin stripe going down the side, maybe some Pirelli piece slots, 16-inch, like there was an aftermarket kind of wheel available. So yeah, so hoping that looks good in the end. But please like and subscribe. See you in the next video.